This is Matt Froch, Boxing Delight, to be joined for the first time by Carl Cobra Froch. Carl.
Cobra. Still giving it the Cobra, I like it.
Yeah, got to rep it, haven't we? You're big everywhere, but especially in Nottingham. This is the first big fight in Nottingham since the days of you yourself, and obviously Lee Wood's here now and he wants to realise his dream of defending his world title, and then in his eyes he'll want to move on to fight at the City Ground. So what do you make of this fight? Great fight him and Michael Conlan.
Yeah, real good fight. For me, 50-50, slightly edging Lee. Maybe that's my heart speaking, not my head. Conlan's a quality operator, top amateur. He got robbed in the Olympics. He let everyone know and all, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did. I think he had a few signals with his hands that let him do talking.
Yeah, well, it was diabolical what happened to him. Let's not forget, top amateur, Olympic gold medalist, really, and unbeaten as a pro. Yeah. Not sure who his best winner is as a pro. Maybe no one.
I think that's what makes this fight interesting, because you look at both the records and you think these are probably their two's best opponents. I think that's what makes. Is this going to be about power puncher versus boxer, or do you think it'll come down to a little bit more than that?
You can't just have Lee Wood down as a power puncher. He can bang, but I think his power comes from his timing, his ability to connect with shots that you don't see coming, because he's awkward. He's got that Ingle style, that kind of unorthodox, elusive counter punch about him. So he's not a massive banger. Don't get me wrong, he can punch, but he's not a knockout puncher, because he times him. If he catches him sweet, he might struggle to do that against Conlan, because Conlan's a very good fighter, as in a top amateur experience, but not an experienced pro. What's he had, 15, 16 fights?
Yeah.
And not really fought anybody where you go, well, that was a good win. That tells you that he beats Lee Wood. There's no one in that mix. So I can see why people would say puncher versus boxer, but let's not forget Lee Wood's boxing ability.
Yeah, 100%.
Talked about it earlier. His elusiveness, his jab, his feints, his counter punch off the back foot, and his ability to hit you with shots. There's no way you saw the shot coming, because it comes out the clinch, or he'll be moving one way, he'll go to the other side and he'll hit with a shot on his way through, and you'll think, well, that's just ability, that is skill and natural ability. So if he times you, he's going to chin you if you don't see it coming. But he's not a knockout man. Yeah. But he can box as well. So this fight could be a point for either man.
Yeah, it is a very good matchup. I want to talk to you. You mentioned judges in the Olympics and stuff like that. We've seen yesterday the demotion of Ian John Lewis after his scorecard against Jack Capshaw and Josh Taylor.
What happened to Ian John Lewis?
Well, he's been demoted, hasn't he? I think his ranking as a judge has changed, and they've asked for the governing bodies to make Jack Capshaw a mandatory, and they've applied for that with all the governing bodies. What do you make of judges' scorecards and stuff like that, and what should happen when you see a card that's maybe everyone else in the world sees as one-sided or won by a good few rounds? What do you think should happen?
Well, you're asking me to kind of reinvent the wheel, because
something needs changing, doesn't it?
It's a worldwide format, 10-point mud system that's worked for many years, but it's also gone wrong a lot of times, and that was a bad one. I tweeted that Cattrall took his foot off the gas towards the end.
He did.
I know there was a bit of backlash from that. So what I meant from that was, he was doing so well and winning so clearly. Just finish strong. Just make sure, because when you're the challenger for a unified title, the judges are sitting there thinking, do you deserve to be unified champ? They shouldn't be thinking that. They should be scoring it round by round. If you take the foot off the gas and start to get a bit, not lazy, but not doing the work, not looking like you want to win, looking like you want to just get the result now, they're going to be like, Josh Taylor can have that round, and he can have that round and all. And that's what happened. That's what went wrong. But he still won the fight.
That's what I wanted to get out of you, because I knew what you meant by the tweet. But ultimately, I know you do. But ultimately, it shouldn't matter. If you get 7 rounds in front, it shouldn't matter, and people shouldn't be listening to the crowd. But moving on from that,
let me give you a quick idea. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't get robbed. So how about this? What we've got in football, we've got VR in football. Yeah. So you've got your normal 3 judges around the ring, and then you've got 3 geezers or girls, so 3 people sat watching it on television. Yeah, they get the person who's watching it at home's perspective. You get all the camera angles, because the judge sits on one side, and a lot of the time they've got a fighter's back to them, so they don't see the same as what the judge over there sees. So let's have them 3 as the official scores, and let's have the VR sat in a room watching it on television, 3 more judges, and if it goes wrong, like it did that night, and everyone's arguing and fighting the fun out before they announce the winner, there's a bit like, hang on a minute, are you sure this is right? Let's see what VR are saying. Let's see what the 3 people watching it on the television think. And if they're all conclusively together that the decision should go the other way, then they've got to take that into account and maybe take that as the final decision, because they can have a debate and they can take 10 minutes and keep people waiting and say, we've got to get this right. Was that a goal? Was it not a goal? Did it pass the line? Was that a foul? Is it a penalty? Did he win the fucking fight? Sorry, but you know what I mean? Because that's how intense it was. Did he win the fight? And Josh Taylor didn't win the fight on points. No. I'm sorry, Josh Taylor, you didn't win the fight, but you got the decision, and that is wrong because Cattrall got robbed, really.
I think we're going to have to see something because, like I said, guys went their whole lives to get to that point, and you may never see an undisputed championship fight again. But let's move on quickly because I know you've got some duties to be doing for DAZN.
For Darren Barker.
For Darren Barker.
Old friend of mine.
Oh, yeah, you know him, do you?
I used to bash him in sparring. We had a good few bashings in sparring. He used to bash me every now and again. Not often though. No, I sparred loads around to that. Tony Sims and Darren used to come to the gym. Me and Rob McCracken. Good friend of mine.
Pay-per-view sparring, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about Amir Khan, Kell Brook. I didn't get to catch you after the fight. I know your opinion on it, but there's a lot of talk that Amir Khan will activate this rematch clause against Kell Brook. Is that a ploy for someone to say, look, we'll pay you to step aside, or do you think Amir Khan genuinely wants to get back in the ring with Kell Brook?
If Amir Khan wants to step back in the ring with anybody, then he needs some serious work on his head, because he's gone. He's gone. And I'm not going to just give him stinks to say he's shot to bits, he's finished, he's throwing his gloves up and write him off. That's what I'm saying. He needs to retire. He's shot. He can't hold a shot. He's finished. His punch resistance has gone.
Yeah.
But on the back of that, I need to say that his CV stacks up with the best of them in the world. Yeah. He's fought the best of the best. He's fought an elite level. All right, he's been knocked out two or three times, but he's fought the best of the best. He is brave as they come. His performance against Marcus Madana was just nothing short of fantastic, amazing. How did he stay on his fucking feet? People say he's chinny. He's not chinny. He is now. He can't take a shot. But he's brave, he's tough, he tries, he comes to win, and he believes in himself. You've got to give Amir Khan loads and loads of credit. He should never step in a boxing ring ever again. And if he is doing it just for the bit of money, fair play to him. But don't tell us you want to fight again, because we ain't listening.
I think just on that as well, massive credit to Amir Khan, because he's opened the doors for the likes of the GB team that are coming through. There was him. Now we've got a cluster of fighters that he's opened the door for. So yeah, incredible work that side of it, but we'll see what happens. Anthony Joshua, it looks like, because of the sad situation we've got in the Ukraine, we'll need an interim fight. Eddie Hearn yesterday said his idea of an interim would be a nice easy touch for him. Anthony Joshua is saying things like Deontay Wilder, Joe Joyce. I think he responded to one of our tweets at In2 saying that he's dealt with Joe Joyce in a round before in amateurs. So if you're Anthony Joshua, from a business point of view, what do you do and what do you want to see him do?
Well, business point of view, don't fight Deontay Wilder, because you're probably going to get chinned, because he's a massive puncher. There's a chance you could get chinned. You caught one on the chin, you're going over. Don't care if your name's Anthony Joshua or whatever your name is in the heavyweight division. He can knock you out with one punch. You know, Tyson Fury nearly found that out a couple of times. So yeah, I understand what Eddie Hearn's saying. It's a dangerous fight, but a great fight for the fans. Go on, jump in there with Wilder. We all want to see it. This is brilliant. But I like the Joe Joyce fight.
It's a great fight.
Ortiz, past his best, bit too old. Great fighter, gives him problems, whatever. But the Joe Joyce fight, give Joe Joyce the fight. If you're listen, I'd say don't fight Joe Joyce, because that's a dangerous fight, a fight that you could lose. Don't forget, I've seen these two guys sparring.
Yeah.
Hundreds of rounds at the England squad, and I know what went off. I'm not going to divulge what went off, but this ain't a one-round knockout job, let me tell you. I don't think anyone can knock out Joe Joyce in one round unless they've got a lump hammer in their hand. I think it's impossible. He's too tough. He's too fit. If AJ says he can do him, then back it up and let's see it. What a great fight that is. And Joe Joyce deserves his shot. There's a promotional divide though. AJ knows the truth about Joe Joyce, so I don't think that'll happen. But that's the one I'd be calling for the fans and for himself. Put your money where your mouth is.
It's a great fight while we wait and see what the situation's going to be with Alexander Usyk. Right, something's going around social media at the minute. It's one of the strangest frigging questions I've ever seen, so I'm just going to ask you. What is there more of in the world, doors or wheels?
What is there more of?
Doors or wheels?
I think the metaphorical door is also in the mix of doors.
Listen, I'm here for it. Go on.
So definitely doors.
For sure.
Because doors are always opening and closing constantly every day in life. So doors, certainly.
I think out of all the answers I'm going to expect to get from that today, that's probably going to be the one. Look, Carl Froch, thanks for talking to In2 Boxing. You cracked me up. Appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll catch up again.
Pleasure.